Ravi, thanks for coming in. Finally, we get to meet up.
Yeah.
And we get to have this conversation.
Yeah.
Okay. Ravi, there's lots of new initiatives that Intel brings to the table.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us about a few of them.
See, if you look at it, people have known Intel as a chip company for the last 40 years or so.
Yeah.
Over the last couple of years, we have made some huge transformation in making sure Intel is becoming more of a computing company, right? So, for example, we have always architected our processors for the performance segment and then waterfall it during its life cycle, carrying the entry-level segment. 3 years back, we made a fundamental shift. We brought in an Atom microprocessor for the affordable segments, which not only goes into netbooks and nettops.
The default processor for all netbooks now.
That's right. That's right. It is also going into new segments as well. Gartner has said that there will be roughly 15 billion devices on the internet by 2015, which means that most of the consumer electronic devices, embedded devices, will have a touch to the internet, right? And internet pretty much runs on the x86 infrastructure of Intel. We think that's a strategic play for Intel because of the software compatibility and the performance we bring to the table. And if you look at internet today, increasingly it's becoming rich in media. We're talking about 3D, we're talking about high definition videos and so on, right? So that plays to Intel's performance strengths on the processor architecture. And you've seen some announcements early part of this year. Google and Sony announced a Google TV, which is based on an Atom avatar, right? And you will see, you'll be able to access internet from the TV as well. There's a lot of innovations happening from India's standpoint. For example, Meru cabs, they have an in-vehicle infotainment system, which will be at the headrest of your car. And as you drive from the airport to your house, you'll be able to watch movies, you'll be able to get internet data, you'll be able to get content. What you see in flights today, right? You could get real-time data, real-time content. So we've been making sure that we are able to expand the portfolio of Intel's offerings into newer and newer segments, right? And we believe that that's going to be a huge opportunity for a company like Intel. And it very well plays to our strengths in terms of software compatibility, internet experience, and the right level of performance for processors, right? So you see Intel making a shift towards more of a computing company. And we have made some big bets over the last 12 months. Last year we bought a company called Wind River, which is kind of the Microsoft of the embedded space.
Microsoft
for the embedded segment. So we bought it for almost like $800 million. About a month back, we have made our intention to buy McAfee for $8 billion because we think as this plethora of devices get access to the internet, security is going to be one common fabric that's extremely critical for consumers, right? So we think that's going to be key as well. Right? And then we also recently acquired Infineon Wireless Division, which gives us access to 3G connectivity, LTE and so on, which will become part and parcel. So increasingly you will see compute devices communicating and vice versa, and internet is going to be a touch point. That's going to be the universal fabric, right? I think there are lots of opportunities globally, and I think even for a market like India, as you see more and more youth getting into the workforce and so on, they're going to need a lot more gadgets, right? Multiple form factors where they need instant information and so on. Social networking is becoming huge, and you're getting people wanting to be in touch with their friends, what they're doing and so on. And as the 3G and the broadband infrastructure gets built out in India over the next 2 to 3 years, we think that's going to fundamentally change the hardware landscape.
So 2 questions now. Lots of talk about 3G, but we don't see any action happening. Do you have any inside view of when it's going to be rolled out?
See, at least people who have sunk in $23 billion for both 3G as well as broadband wireless access, they're going to build their networks for sure. And you're also seeing every day people announcing smartphones, right, where you could get 3G access and so on. Given that they've already put in the money, so it's just a question of time where people will start rolling out services, right? So I think it's just a question of time. People are already doing field trials and so on. You should see 3G taking off sometime early part of next year.
Thank you so much, Ravi. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Nice talking to you, Kripa.